Hey there, it's Jared Hamilton with the Hamilton Group at Cherry Creek Mortgage, and welcome to another edition of Java with Jared. Once again, happy Friday and happy April Fool's Day. Hope you guys are having a good day. Well, interest rates had a great week, and that's no fooling, as my title said. We saw interest rates really improve this week with a good basis for maybe to continue that maybe later on throughout the month. And we saw a lot of economic data that was introduced into the market and some important comments by the Fed, which I'll get to a little bit later. Let's just dive right into the numbers and I can let you know what's going on. First of all, at the beginning of the week, we saw the PCE, the Personal Consumption Expenditures, and that's come out, and that's a Fed's favorite gauge of inflation, and that was very tame. It only showed an increase year over year of about 1.7%. Expectations were for about 1.8%. So it was in line to weaker than expected, and that's overall good for interest rates. We did see personal income down, or actually that was up 0.1%. Sorry about that. So a slight increase there, but spending was down, which is not that great for the economy. A lot of data from the housing front. We first saw pending home sales come in, and that's for homes under contract, and that showed a huge increase of 3.5%, so a whopper of a number, but that was on the heels of a very weak January number, so it was expected that we would see this rebound because of January was so low because of bad weather, and so those things were just kind of front-loaded into February, but a real good number from the housing and homes under contract. We also saw Case-Shiller index come in, and the overall number was a good one. It was at 5.2%, but the 20-city index, that showed, or actually 5.4%, the 20-city index showed an increase of about 5.7% year over year. Now, Denver has been among the leaders in the clubhouse here and was really one of the top 1 or 2 spots over the last previous months. We're not there. We weren't there this month, but we were still in the top 4. Here's how they ranked, just in case you're curious. We saw Portland come in with almost a 12% increase. That was at 11.8%, followed by Seattle at 10.7%, San Francisco at 10.5%, and Denver was number 4 at 10.2%. The month-over-month number was 0.2% increase. So again, Denver is one of the leaders in the clubhouse here for overall values, which should come at no huge surprise to us here experiencing what we're seeing. Now, on Wednesday, Janet Yellen testified before Congress, and that's when everything really improved for interest rates. She was very, very dovish. She was said that the Federal Reserve is going to take a very measured approach to increasing rates. Now, at the end of last year, after the Federal Reserve made one of the first hike in almost 8 years, it was expected that the Federal Reserve would continue to hike going into this year, and that now is waning quite a bit. The Federal Reserve has like a futures chart that what the members think is going to happen, and previously most of the members believe there is about 4 rate hikes that might be coming in 2016. Well, that's now down to 2, and many believe that experts that there may not be any hike into this year. Now, remember, we're in an election year, and so if the Federal Reserve hikes, it will probably be sometime before July or August, and after that, it's off the table because they're just going to sit back. So even if the economy shows some sign of life. So right now, it's really looking, because of what Janet Yellen said, like the Federal Reserve may not hike interest rates, and that's just due to all this global economic instability where we're seeing in Europe and Japan actually negative interest rates, and so the Federal Reserve does not want to make our rates too attractive here because that would really strengthen the dollar and hurt the overall economy, and the Federal Reserve doesn't want to do that. So they're in a bit of a rock and a hard place because while there are some signs of inflation, it's not dramatic, and we don't want to put ourselves in a position to where we can't compete globally. Friday today was the jobs number, and that showed a pretty strong number, 215,000 jobs added to the economy. Expectations were for somewhere around the 200,000 jobs, no revisions to speak of, really. So it was better than expected, a little bit better than expected. Normally, the bond market and interest rates would react negatively to that, but they haven't. We're actually just holding water. So we're keeping all the gains that we received earlier here in the week. We did see the unemployment rate go from 4.9 to 5%. That's because more people entered into the workforce. The labor force participation rate actually increased a little bit, so that's good for the overall economy, where more people are actually working. And so more people, though, did enter the workforce. Some of those found jobs, some of them haven't yet, and so that's why, even though we had a little bit stronger number from the employment side, the unemployment rate actually went up slightly. So we're teed up here actually for interest rates, again, to remain great. Stock market loved all this data, so usually the stock market and interest rates react differently. When the stocks do well, interest rates suffer, vice versa. This week we saw both stocks and interest rates get better. And if the stock market does pull back a little bit, that's going to be good for interest rates. And so bottom line is, and from a global perspective, money flowing into the United States is set up very well just because of negative interest rates in Europe and Japan. We're the best rates going right now. So anyway, that's what's going on with interest rates. It's going to be a great interest rate environment for summer. So get out there, let your clients know. If you have any questions, please give me a call. Thanks for joining me with Java with Jared. Have a happy April Fools, and don't get pranked. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.